Hi everyone, it's Nightfight22 here. I hope you guys are all well. Today I'm doing a new series all about tactics and all sorts of stuff to help you improve your endgame. Just to let you know, I am filming on my Fritz 11 program today and not on chess.com, but I hope this doesn't affect the viewing of your screen too much. And I think it's time for me again to apologize for the watermark in your videos. Okay, so let's take a look at this position. This position was taken from the October 2012 Chess.com magazines. These tactic training puzzles are always really good, and I'm just showing you this just because it really helps you improve your chess. I solved this problem. I am like an 1100, 1200 rated player in standard, and it took me about 20 minutes to find the solution, but I did finally find it. So what I'd like you to do is, before I go any further into this, is if you are willing to, just take maybe 5-10 minutes, however long you need, just to look through this puzzle and see if you can find the solution. And if you can't, or if you can't be bothered, that is okay. Just carry on watching and I will explain how to do this. Okay, so I hope you went a look and had a solution, but it's fine if you don't. But let's have a look at this problem. So it is white to move. And these puzzles, they don't say any specific thing, like they don't say mate or win a pawn. They just give you the position and they just say find the best move for white. So white is down a pawn in this position. You could also argue that black is better because he has the rook instead of the two knights. As this is a very open game, these knights aren't going to be too useful, but up near the king's side then they could be. Okay, so black has this rook, which is going along the 7th rank, but this rook isn't very useful at the moment because it is not doing much. But if these pawns were to be opened up, then it would be very useful. Another thing you need to bear in mind is this rook is going to attack the queen, so anything such as knight to g6 will obviously lead to a discovered attack on the queen. And let's look at what black has in this position. Black has a very good defense. He's got his king well protected, still in a castle position, not bothered to do anything with his rook at the moment. Also, he's got this rook and queen bearing along the g-file in this position. And if we do not let the pawn fall, it will be over pretty quickly. So this g-pawn is obviously very weak. If we do just make a normal move, which isn't a move which forces black to move, it is obviously going to be pretty devastating, as I'm sure there's a checkmate line somewhere. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to explore the solutions and see what some stuff works. I'm going to ponder over some stuff which I thought it was in the actual position before we go to the solution. But for now, let's just have a look at this. So the first move, which could be quite logical, not logical because there's not a lot of logical stuff you can do in this position, is maybe knight to g6. Sorry, knight f6 check. Not f6 check, but attacking rook. So here, as you can see, this just allows the g1 rook to take the king, and after the king moves, then the knight will be captured, and black just has the crushing attack on the rook. Sorry, on the queen and on the king. So let's have a look at some other problems here, which I might have thought of what it was. There is always a queen sacrifice here. Queen takes f7. Let's see what happens in this position. Rook takes f7. And now there is no check. Obviously, if knight takes here, there is no check. The only check, I think, is either rook c1, which is obviously just going to lead in rook f8, or knight f6 check. Maybe you could try rook c8. And then, say if the rook defends, maybe then you could have knight to f6 check, but obviously that would be pretty stupid. You could have rook takes rook, and then rook takes rook, and then knight g6 check. And I went over pondering about this, and then I realized that white has two knights and black has the queen and the rook sitting over here. So it's not going to be anything to do with that queen sacrifice there. There may be another queen sacrifice around. But now I'm going to actually give away the solution to the problem and the different variations. This took me like 25 minutes to come up with it. I saw it as quite an interesting move at the start, and then I thought, meh, it's not working. But then I realized in the end it did work. Now the move is knight f6 check. Now before I play the position against the computer, I would like to talk about what this move does. Firstly, it checks the king, which is good because if you did not check the king, or as I said, do a move which forces black to make another move apart from rook takes g2, that is very good because this rook takes g2 move pretty much signifies the end of the game for white, especially at top level play, and of course this is a game from top level play. Knight g6 check. Firstly, it forces the king to move, or if this, so say if the king does not decide to take, it forces the king to move, obviously to h8. This then just weakens the rook and the back rank, and also has more scope for the knights and checking and stuff. Secondly, if the king does decide to take, it does double attack on the knight here, but it leaves this pawn undefended, and it also opens up the g-file for more checking chances. So this move does definitely not close down any alloys on the checking route. Okay, so there are two variations. I'm actually firstly going to go over the worst variation, which is the king to h8 variation. Obviously the king can't go to h7 because of the knights. This allows for knight g6 check, and it's very clever because if the pawn does capture here, this opens up the g file here, and you can actually come in with queen takes h6. I think works because obviously there's a mate on h7 here. So this is a very clever line. I like that queen sacrifice there. And obviously when the knight does come to g6 here, the king can do nothing more but to take, as both g8 and h7 are not covered by the knights. Secondly, the better variation is where the king decides to take. The queen can now come over to g4. Just bear in mind my computer is making the best moves, or pretty much the best moves, as I am playing Fritz 11 rated 2300. And now you can carry on the checks with knight g6 check. Oh shoot, wait, sorry, 1 second. There we go. Sorry, knight takes f7 check. And after this, let's go over if the rook doesn't recapture. If this rook doesn't recapture, and you have king f7, then the knight can go to d6. This is attacking the rook, and it's only a matter of time before the mate. The other variation, of course, the only other thing that black can do in this position, as this whole g-file is closed down from the queen, that is why we sacrifice his knight, is to take the knight here. And after knight takes, you can play the rook to the back rank check, and obviously you can see this ends in defeat. Black just throws a rook in front of this rook to try and prevent the checkmate, and throws another rook in front of a king, but obviously it leads to a mate there. So very interesting position. I hope you guys liked working through the problem with me. I had to go through all of those variations just to check that there was no escape route for black in that position, and it was quite difficult. As I said, it was a problem for 1800 players and over, and me being 1100, 1200, you know, I might be high now, but I'm talking to you in the past, if that makes sense. It was very difficult to solve, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I found that these very much help your games, especially if you've got sort of over 15-minute games, and you are in a position like this where you're coming unstuck. Like a move like knight f6 check will really help your opponent, and then obviously something like one of these wacky checkmates is going to really impress. By the way, it was a Grandmaster game. I cannot currently remember the names of the Grandmasters, as my magazine is elsewhere, but I can find out for you, and I can post it in the comments. Alright, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I've been Knifefighter22. I wish you good luck with your chess, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys.